My name is Mike Johnston. This is August 31st, 2014, and we're at Midwest Freefall in Ray Township, Michigan. I've had a lot of really rewarding experiences in my career in skydiving, and it's hard to say exactly which one is the most memorable, but certainly one that is very memorable was my involvement with the 10-way Speedstar team Exodus. This was back in the mid-70s, and at that time relative work competition was just recently accepted into the nationals, and 10-way was the event. There was another event, and it was 8-way, or not 8-way yet, but 4-way. And so at that time there was 4-way and 10-way, but 10-way was what many people considered the pinnacle. And a good friend of mine that I had known since high school had an idea to start a team, and his name is Nick Lucas. And in 1975 he gathered some of us together and presented his idea to form a 10-way team that would surpass the recognized leaders in relative work at the time, which were the Southern California jumpers. And he said he had some ideas on how we could leapfrog ahead of them. And so we put the team together, and we competed at almost every meet we could from that time until the 1978 Nationals. And that was the entire span of Exodus. And during that time, I believe I made every jump with the team except for one day when my back was too sore in one of the later years. And so I was a member of the team its entire history. And we gathered people, Nick gathered people from the Great Lakes region. I'm going to go off on a tangent for just a moment. The Great Lakes region has some magic to it. I don't know if it's the water or what, but if you stop and look, it was the cradle of aviation. It led so many of the things in the development of aviation, certainly not everything, but many things. And I think today even more astronauts have come from Ohio than anywhere else. And one of the things that Michigan played a lead role in was the early barnstormers. Many interesting things happened. The first piggyback was designed by a guy by the name of Clemson in the 1930s, and he was a Michigan jumper, and he jumped bat wings and all that sort of thing. But anyway, back to the main topic. At that time we had style and accuracy champions from the Great Lakes region, and so we just kind of had that heritage, and that gave us a little bit of momentum. And Nick gathered people throughout the course of the team from as far away as Milwaukee to Pittsburgh and as far south as Indianapolis. And so we always found some place to jump somewhere within that triangle. And just to be on the team, we had to be committed to using all of our free time every weekend we possibly could to train. Nick's goal was to never make us have to drive more than 4 hours to get to wherever it was we were going to jump. Of course, when they lowered the speed limit, we all got CB radios and fuzzbusters, so we wouldn't be slowed down and have to drive longer. And so we started our weekend with this strong drive, and we just were totally committed to putting our maximum effort into things, and we trained as much as we could, and we gradually were reaching our goals of launching our exit through the narrow DC-3 door. And as we got close to our first big nationals, Nick wouldn't even tell us what our practice times were anymore. Sometimes he would say, "We did our time," and sometimes he would say, "We did our time." And when we got to the meet, the scoreboard was off limits. We had very fast stars at the meet. We were well ahead of everybody else. Unfortunately, there was a little political thing that caused us to get disqualified, but that did not stop us from continuing. And we broke 10 seconds for a 10-man Speedstar in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Or no, it was Tahlequah, Oklahoma at the time, which I believe is the first time there was a 10-man in under 10 seconds. In fact, I think Ed Moser, one of our teammates that built jumpsuits, brought T-shirts because he expected we would do that, and he broke those out for us. And so our slogan became 10 mans in under 10 seconds. And Eventually, they let us have our scores at the Nationals, and we were just a little bit off, and a California team did beat us, but we took a silver medal, and that was the best official performance that Exodus made. But during the time of Exodus, we were always doing new and unique things, and one of those things was canopy relative work. And we all had ram air canopies. Well, Chris Price didn't for a while when he joined the team, but everybody had ram air canopies, and some of the team members had come from the beach nuts, which had the original ram air canopies, and a lot of us had been jumping ram airs for a while, and we were flying them next to each other. We were bumping insoles, we were following in trail, sometimes in contact, and it just never dawned on us to take a grip. And then we heard that our arch rivals, the team from DeLand, Florida, Slots for Tots, had two guys that actually hooked up, and as soon as we heard that, on the very next jump, Nick Lucas and I went up and grabbed a hold of each other, and so I don't know if we were the second pair to do a hookup or if more slots had been in hookups before we did that, but we started doing CRW after 10-ways, and we did a lot of things. I remember being in the first night 2-stack, and doing the first 3-stack, and it was just a thing that we did, and we did it with the same kind of enthusiasm and reckless abandon that we approached blasting ourselves through the door for 10-way. And the first time we had an entanglement that got a little scary, that kind of slapped us into a little reality check, and we started to establish some safety rules and some minimum altitudes. And that was the early days of CRW, that we just kind of fit in with our 10-way.